Oh, I love it. I love it. What the things you learn: join the Caucus, lead a quiet life. I was so blown away by the mess Illinois is in that I mean, I know it's bad, but when I heard people starting to talk about the specifics, 18,000 students will be able to return to school, that because of the grants, the student aid for higher ed, that they're closing universities, they're ending social service programs. I mean, it's like
we have been ending social service programs, and then I've heard social services as well as some of the Catholic Charities pieces, and they'll say, now we've got a budget for last year and 6 months of this year. It's a cobbled together budget. It's not full because we don't have the income for it, and so. Like a social service agency said, well, who's going to come back to us for services, not knowing in 6 months do I have to leave again? Do I have to leave again? So it's very iffy, and that's just very unstable for people. But I had heard the pieces too about the payment for like state workers and payment for healthcare. Especially dental, because dental is
that people continue to pay their premiums, but they're not paying the bills in a year and a half, 2 years.
That's very difficult, yes.
It's like we're destroying our nation. I mean, that's what broke my heart. Because I've heard stories about Kansas, and I thought, Kansas is Kansas. But then, Kansas, the public schools may not open in September.
And that's why we passed this cobbled together budget
to try to do that. But then you hear the other ways that we're just tearing it apart because we're afraid to pay for things that matter. And that's why I thought the tax people did a really good job in saying investment.
We talked on tax justice, like she said, and we think that we need to change the way we talk about it. And we need to maybe changing the narrative. And we think that a way to approach that might be that it is a moral issue for us to invest in everyone.
Ooh.
Okay.
And even the word invest. That's right.
Taxes are investments.
Taxes are investments in people.
In the future.
And I like that changing the narrative, and I think we have to be creative about how we're going to do that. But when they use the word moral imperative, I'm just reminded of the recent Exxon shareholder meeting, because that was there was a resolution about the moral imperative for Exxon to take some stance on climate change issues, and the SEC didn't throw it out, and so Ed Bailey was there, and the person who works with us, they were at that shareholder meeting. So I don't remember how many votes it got, but what struck me with that, it's that language, the moral imperative. It's the moral imperative.
Right. These issues are moral issues in our time. It's no longer just about doing nice things. It's what's right, and we've got to step up to it.
And I was especially, the whole democracy piece tonight. That was strong for me, and because I do your story about the Greek democracy, I thought about that for us.
What happened to Athens? And I don't know, this is what Wikipedia said, but so I could be wrong. But that they had a vibrant democracy for about 200 years. And then rich families started fighting with each other. And eventually, a rich family sold them out to Sparta or the Macedonians or others, and the democracy collapsed. I think your challenge to us to figure out what we do is that we're really at a crux, at an important moment, that we gotta stand up and engage, step in and not out. And the individualistic pressures and big money in politics is challenging us to do that. It's hard. It's hard work, but it's important work.
What are we coming to that we now have citizen engagement, we have total money engagement of political people, then they the laws just they're getting more power and more money. So that is
It's worrisome.
it is worrisome, yes.
And hence we're on the road.
Yes.
Get a little bus trying to stir this up and say we're better than this. We can do this.
Yes.
But I mean, like looking at all those people there tonight.
That was a large
That was a large group. I mean, a bunch of them are not friends, but a bunch of them had been at talks I gave when I was here, and a bunch of people came because they heard about it. But I was impressed with the turnout.
I was very impressed with the turnout.
And engagement. Nobody drifted away.
No, people were right on target, you know. And I know you had, in a sense, the choir. That's okay.
It's all right. We need choir practice.
Yes, we need choir practice. But we also need more members of the choir.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
But that's how it builds. That's how it builds. Because several people told me that they really remembered my talk when I was there before. I didn't do the choir practice.
Yes.
And they still remember me, you know.
Sure.
And they told everybody about it. And they said, this is the result. I think it's working. What can we do? And I guess that. So it builds. It's better.
Yes. Well, what I brought into the conversation tonight is the whole question of racism, because that's what our community works on. And we're really trying to make some strides in Springfield.
Wow. It's so needed, personally.
But how it affects, what I've learned in our training for racism about power, it goes in all these different areas.
It is. It's insidious. And the piece that I've learned about my white privilege, I mean, I have a hard time nowadays even talking about racism because it makes it about people of color. The issue is my white privilege. I am not suspected of shoplifting by walking into a store. I'm not stopped by the police just because I'm driving. Because I have this white skin. Isn't it humbling to do this work? It's so amazing.
It is. Yes, it's humbling and it's rewarding them too.
Oh my gosh. Absolutely. Absolutely.